Fort William is a fort in Anomabu, Central Region, Ghana, originally known as Anomabo Fort and renamed Fort William in the 19th century by its then commander, Brodie Cruickshank, who added one story to the main building in the days of King William IV. It was built in 1753 by the British after they thwarted a French attempt to establish a fort at the same place. Two earlier forts had been established at the same site, one in 1640 by the Dutch, another in 1674 by the English. Fort Charles was abandoned in the late 17th century. History. Earlier forts. In 1640, the Dutch built the first simple fort in the form of stone log and brick lodge under the direction of Commander Arndt Jacobses van der Graaf. In 1653, the Swedes captured the lodge. In 1657, Danish forces took the lodge under Kerlo. In 1659 and 1660, the Dutch recaptured it. When the Second Dutch-Anglo War ended in 1667 with the British gained a foothold in Anomabu. In 1672 or 1673, the British began building Fort Charles, naming it after King Charles II of England on the present-day location of Fort William. An early Anomabu chief, perhaps Eno or Enobasi, inhabited the Dutch lodge at this time and declared it his palace. The fort was abandoned by the British not long after, in order to concentrate efforts and costs on Fort Carolusburg at Cape Coast. 10% as base. In 1698, the Royal African Company licensed ship captains not in its employment upon the payment of a 10% affiliation fee to enable them to trade in its areas of monopoly. There followed a flood of 10%ers trading at British forts, are often outnumbering the company's own ships. Anomabu became a popular haunt of 10%ers, exporting vast numbers of slaves. In 1717, the Dutch Director General at Elmina, Engelgraaf Roberts, quoting an English captain on Anomabu slave trade exports, stated, "From January 1702 to August 1708, they took to Barbados and Jamaica a total of not less than 14 slaves, and in this figure are not included transactions made for other ships sailing to such islands as Nevis, Montserrat, St. Christopher, for the South Sea Company, the New Netherlands and others, which would increase the above number considerably, and of which Anomabu alone could provide about 1/3. Fort William in 1753. After thwarting a French bid to establish a fort at Anomabu, the British began construction Anomabo Fort, designed by military engineer John Apperley, who became its first governor. After Apperley's death in 1756, Irishman Richard Brute took over the governorship of the fort and completed its construction in 1760. The Anomabo Fort became the center of British slave trading along the Gold Coast until the slave trade was outlawed in 1807. Anomabu was a popular tourist destination. The remains of Fort William can still be seen. Gallery. Notable residents: William Ansah Sesaraku,